Hi, Brian Tees. How you doing? Thank you for being with us. Rashid! He's here.
Oh my God, I'm super excited for this interview right here.
I just had to get everything set up right quick.
What's up, Miss Night Sun? What's up, girl? Gary is in the house. Welcome aboard. Thank you for supporting Rashid. Oh my God, they're coming in. They're coming in. So how you doing today, Rashid?
I'm doing great. I've been sitting in the house all day, not doing anything.
Yeah.
Normal
Are
things.
you nervous?
You said what?
Are you nervous?
Nope, not at all.
Good. Awesome. Ricky Valero, what's up? I'm doing well, Miss Night Sun. Thank you so much for asking. How are you feeling, Ricky? Yeah, Rashid is definitely the future. We're speaking with the future here, people. I just want you guys to understand and know
Thank you.
this. Okay. The future is right here on the Martine Show. So, first order of business as people roll in, I want to remind each and every one of you guys that I do have a silent contest giveaway happening for the Martine Show. All the information is on the Instagram page. What you guys do basically is pick one of those t-shirts or one of those things that says, yes, I was on the Martine Show. And when you purchase that, right? Basically, what you're going to do is create a video or write your story of how you were inspired by the Martine Show. Whether you were a guest or you were watching the Martine Show, if you heard something that inspired you, I would like for you to give me a testimonial. So you're going to, if you create your post on Instagram, it's only on Instagram, by the way. So when you create your post on Instagram, you're going to tag me, Arthur Martine Myers. All right. And that's how you enter the contest. But first, you have to get your merch. Okay. And at the end, we're going to choose the winner and then there'll be a giveaway, which is the reason why it's silent. I'm not going to tell you guys what the giveaway is because if I do, then people are going to be like, oh, maybe I should do it because of the giveaway. No, I want you guys to tell your story because I know each and every one of you guys have been touched one way or the other. A lot of you guys have voiced it on Rizzle. However, we want to flood Instagram with those testimonials as well. So if, as we go along, many different shows, I'm sure you probably heard something or learned from something that was said on the show. So we like to capture those moments and take it away that way. So I would appreciate if you guys start to participate. And the deadline is December 31st, 2020. All right. So let's see who we have here. Gary says that for sure I'm watching the future. Oh yeah.
Thank you.
You see, you get your props and everything. Everybody knows all about you already. Oh my God.
That's
so,
awesome.
so,
You want me to introduce myself?
yeah, that's what I was about to say. You go, future. Go ahead. Go.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me on your show. I'm Rashid. I'm a political commentator, and I have a podcast. It's called the Rashid James Day Show. I speak about politics and social issues. I'm also on Rizzo as well as her, and I really just talk a lot about politics. There's not much else that I do besides like post memes or stuff. But I really enjoy politics, and I'm thinking about becoming a congressman well into the future.
Yes. And do you mind telling people exactly what's your age gap right now? Because you're talking about becoming a congressman, but your journey has just started.
About 25.
Okay. Okay. So he's on the route, guys. All right. So in the future, if you happen to put on your TV or listen on the radio or read an article and see the name Rashid James Days, remember he was on the Martine Show. right?
I remember.
Okay. And be like, oh my God, he did it. He did it. I can't wait for that day because I know it's going to come because you are so certain about yourself. You know,
Thank you.
I love your poise. I love your etiquette. And I like the way you project yourself. You're very professional. And it's for sure. See, Gary's ready to vote for you already. And it's for sure that what you say, you definitely put action to it and you get it done. So,
Thank you.
on that note, let's talk about how did your interest spark for politics? Like, how did that begin?
Well, back in 2015, when Trump actually started getting into politics and started running for president, I wasn't too into him. I thought he was racist, homophobic, all the things that everybody claims he is. Um, and I was really ignorant on politics as a whole. So I was like, you know what? Go. I think it was Martin O'Malley who ran for president in 2015
Mhm.
on the Democratic side. There was like three people: Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, and Martin O'Malley. And I was like, let's go for him, even though I knew nothing about him. Um, and that was back in 2015. I started making PowerPoints to my teacher about politics, and a lot of people found it boring, and some others found it really interesting. Um, I kind of lectured teachers and kind of lectured students too, and told them, "Oh, you're wrong on this, you're wrong on that." And most of the time, I was right, but there was a lot of times that I was really wrong, and
Mhm.
I owned up to it. But once I really started getting into politics and really started doing my own research was probably the day Trump got inaugurated. For some reason, I found the inauguration majestic in some way, even though I knew
Mhm.
nothing about it, anything about the process or anything. But I started doing my research on the president and wondering what he was planning to do during his term. And
Mhm.
a lot of people called me a coon, whitewashed. The same thing any black person who votes Republican is called. I'm not sure if anybody on here has been called that before, but at this point,
Mhm.
I've been used to it. Um, so pretty much the time I've gotten started into politics was 2015 when, the 2016 election started.
Interesting, interesting. Now, do you have other members in your family that is there a background of politics or community service?
Well, community service, yes. My aunt owns this company who does basically feeding the homeless. I guess
Hmm.
you can call that community service. You can,
Yes,
right?
it is. It
Um,
is.
that's one thing she does. That's pretty much it. And I had like Masonic friends who were in like Masonic lodges, and
Hmm.
they were obviously adults, but
Hmm.
they were my mentors, and we were inside of a group called the Knights of Pythagoras, and it was basically like a subsection or like a small section of like the Masonic lodges. I don't remember what number it was, but
Right.
yeah, I was into that, and those people were mostly into politics, and they were very powerful people. So they weren't a part of my family, but I did have a
Mhm.
bit of connections.
Awesome, awesome. So the reason why I asked that question is because normally when you get into politics there it's most likely derived from what you've seen before you and something that inspired you within the people that maybe it was like your parents or forefathers or whatever, and then you say that, okay, let me get into that as well. Because like I don't quote unquote say that I have a political background because I don't like to use that, but I'm well rounded in community service. And I've been part of community service for a very long time. I've helped my mother with her organization. It's been running for like over 25 years, basically where she teaches illiteracy and she teaches it to immigrant communities, and she's been doing that for the longest. So that was my startup in community service. And I continued on and I participated in many different campaigns from that forward. And my mother then started working for Republican governor of New York, Pataki, and I participated in that campaign and stuff. And we had no issues whatsoever. So it's not like for me, politics is not a question of sides. It's a question of cause, you know, and
Yeah, definitely.
that's how I was brought up. That's the way I understand it. And that's how I still follow suit with it. So to know that you're in politics pretty much reminds me of my upbringing, you know,
Hmm.
and see how exactly how you articulate. I like it because my thing is this is that, you know, people need to get involved. The young, the future, people need to get involved.
Yeah,
Whether you like it or don't like it, whether you're on one side or don't side or one side, it's just involvement is imperative because that's where the decisions are being made for you. Nevertheless, you know, your neighborhood, okay, the schools in your area, okay, the future of your children, all right? I mean, who can possibly live within the parameters of where you are? You know what I'm saying? The type of money that is funded to your community, all of that is discussed at the table. So if we're not at the table, we don't get our fair share because nobody's speaking for us.
that's right.
Yeah.
It really stems from whoever you vote for, and whatever you vote for and whatever they do, it really does basically impact what happens in the future. And a lot of people don't realize that, so they just vote for whoever, or they say, you know what, I don't know, he's part of our party line, so maybe I should just vote for that person. And they don't realize this is going to affect their community drastically, whatever way you go, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, etc. um,
Right.
and like you said, it's very important to get involved. You have to know, you have to get I wouldn't say, I would say educated. You have to get educated
Absolutely.
about it at least. So even if you
Absolutely.
don't want to, join in and, do the hard work, at least get educated about it so you know what you're doing and you know what you're getting into and you know what you're voting for.
Right. And then plus, I mean, when it comes to voting, there are so many different levels to it. You know, a lot of people focus on national. National is just like one part, you know, but
Hmm.
the most imperative part, the most important, vital part to our lives is local primary elections because
Right.
those are the actual direct decisions are being made for us in local elections. So your senators, your congressmen, you need to really know who they are. Your community leader, you need to know who those people are, because when
Right.
you have an issue, like let's say, like okay, there's an issue where the potholes in your street are like messing up the cars and stuff like that. You have to know that okay, I could go to my community leader. If not, if nothing is done on that level, I can go to my congressman because
Right.
we're going to take care of that in the area. You know, those are the things that those people take care of. It's imperative to know that. You know what I'm saying? A
It's
lot of people
unfortunate
don't
that a lot
know.
of people don't know that. That's
Exactly.
unfortunate.
You know, and the thing about it, because you participate, because you make yourself known, then it could be an easy phone call to that office and say, listen, you know, I'm I'm a voter, basically you're on the list. And the thing about it, look, I have this situation. Can we have a meeting or something, or can somebody evaluate it so that we could see how they can fix it? And that's how things are done, you know. So I love the fact that you are very much want to be involved because we need more of you to make a
Right.
difference. You know, the lineage is being created right here.
It
Okay,
is. It is.
right
Who knows
here.
if my kids want to get into it? It might be a family name.
Exactly. You never know. And you know what? The route that you go in, the depth that you go in, it has nothing to do with sides. You know, it's not a
Mhm.
Republican or Democratic thing. It has nothing to do with sides. Like I was saying, it's just all about the cause and your purpose. If the cause of what they're discussing is correlates with your personal purpose and what you believe in and what you know is right within your mind, that's what you go for. And that's how I vote. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm not privy to a party, although, yeah, technically I am Democrat. But the thing about it is, I voted Republican before, you know, and
Mhm.
I've been very specific as to why I made that decision and I stood by it. You get what I'm saying? So I want you to be clear about those things because being young, being Black, you may have people who want to deter your mind,
Yeah, there's
And
been
the
a
thing
lot.
about it, yes. And the thing about it is that you may want to change your mind as you go along too, because as you go further into your studies, you're going to make discoveries. There are things that you're going to discover. There are things that you're going to learn that you don't know right now. And based on your livelihood, where you come from, your personal beliefs, or your family lineage, you may want to flip and be like, you know what? I don't like this anymore because XYZ cause bothers me. I'm going to flip
Right.
to another side. And that's okay. That is totally okay. And I want you to know and to be clear within yourself to be like, you know what? I used to say that I was this, but now I'm that. What are people going to think about me? No, you explain yourself. That's part of your authenticity and said, you know what? My views have changed. I was 25 back then. Now I'm 35. A lot
Right.
happened. You get what I'm saying? You grow. And when you're going to get into your 40s, it's going to change again. You
It
know?
happens more frequently than we all think. We change a
Exactly.
lot of our views.
Exactly. And it's okay. But you have to just know, based on your purpose, why you want to change those views.
Right. Be
Why
real.
exactly. And once you do that, you stick to it. You're like, all right, you're going to be feeling good in your skin, and you're just going to move forward and take care of what you need to be, take care of what you need to take care of. And that's it.
Exactly.
So that's what I see. I'm excited for you. I really am.
I really do
So
appreciate the compliments.
no problem. So we have, wow, it's a lot of people here. Mr. Ernst Turner, what's up? Strike for Justice, thank you for being on board. Dwayne Hurt, GQ, DC. We got a whole good support right here. Nice.
Screenshot that real quick.
So let me ask you, um, having interest in politics, and you definitely know where you want to go, what you want to do. Um, you're in school now? Are you in school now?
Yes.
Okay. What did you declare a major?
Um, I am in general studies, so
General studies.
I
Okay.
haven't chosen it, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm going for my associate's degree right now in general studies.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. And is there any possibility of being part of the army or one of the military
Oh yeah,
divisions?
forgot to talk about that. So yeah, I'm planning on joining the National Guard after I'm done with college. Um, it's not really, exactly the armed forces, but it's a, you know, I wouldn't say regiment, but it's a part of it. So I'm joining the National Guard. I'm not sure where I'm going, not sure where I'm doing it at, but yeah, I'm joining that, and after that, I'll get into politics because I want to at least have something done before I get into politics, and not just go straight in right after college.
Wow, you got plans. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Um, I love the fact that I did ask you that question. I do have I do have veterans in my family.
Mm.
Um, one of my cousins, he's actually a retired captain from the National Guard. He served 32 years, and he went to the National Guard right after college. So, yeah, right after he graduated his bachelor's, he did that. And basically, it was the best thing he ever did for himself. National Guard is all about humanitarian, like, humanity.
Right.
You serve people, you know. It's
Save
a
people from
very
wildfires, hurricanes.
yes, yes. Let's say when there is a disaster in terms of like a hurricane or you'll be the person that they'll call to go and help service the people, like food assistance. You'll be working with FEMA, stuff
Mhm.
like that. And the good thing about it is that you also have a direct opportunity for you to continue on and work in government even after you're done, being in the National Guard. So let's say like you enter the National Guard and you pretty much do your time, but let's say that you just want to do it part time, because my cousin only did it part time and it was a whole second career. Other besides that, he's an actual lawyer, but he doesn't practice because he's more into being part of the government, working for the Pentagon. But then at the same time, he served in the National Guard. He was always back and forth on duty as a reserve.
That's
He
good that you
did,
let me know that.
What?
That's
What
good that you
happened?
let me know that. I didn't know anything about that.
No,
That you can
he
do
did
that.
it part time. He did it part time. He didn't do it full time, and his schooling was full time,
That's
so
awesome.
So he juggled both. And after he was done with school, he went to law school. He graduated he did a master's. He went to law school, graduated from that. And then he was still in the National Guard because, his duties were pretty much during the weekends. And it
Hmm.
was once a month as a part timer, you know? And he got married. He had children. He was still serving until he completed 32 years and was like done. So he's full-time official. So God forbid, when he does die, he is going to be honored at Arlington Cemetery, just like all the other officials, and
That
that's
is
it,
awesome.
So hey, Tina, that's my coach, guys, Tina Brinkley Potts. Thank you for being with us.
For some
So
reason,
that
I've
is
always wanted
something,
a solemn funeral. Like
yeah,
that would be the best thing ever.
trust me, if you go that route.
I'm in an interview.
Is that your brother?
Yes.
Tell him I said hi.
How you doing? Hi.
How you doing, sweetie? Where have you been? Haven't heard from you in the longest time.
Who is this? Martine. Martine. Myers. Myers? Oh, Martine. Oh,
Yeah.
hi. Do not show your head. Oh, I gotta pop you back on my head. All right. I'll talk to you later.
No problem. So yeah, so I wanted to share that with you because I think it's very important. And one thing I realized in the Black community, especially with young men, as well as women, but with young men, it's a little more peculiar because we don't get the guidance that we should have. Like, is this conversation that I do right with you right here? It's natural to me because this is conversations that I have with my family. Like, my cousin will tell me about the stuff. That's how I know about it, because I'm not a government official. Like, I speak to my mom, who was a government official. My cousin worked for the Pentagon, so he's a government official. Just like right now, I have my cousin also, who is a captain in the Navy, who's another government official. You get what I'm saying?
Oh,
And
you have a military family.
pretty much, I have three, and then I have my other cousin, basically, who is in the Air Force, another captain. She's actually the girl, she's a captain pilot, and she's just doing her thing right there. But
Cool.
like I said, the only person that did full time, as in the full time servicing, was the captain pilot. Everybody else was part time. The one that's in the Navy, he went to school, he did his master's, then went to the Army, right? No, yeah, then went to the Navy, then he's there part time, and then he's a captain, and he's also a physician. You know what I'm saying? All of these things, like, you, this not
It's
it's
a lot
not
of work.
something that, yeah, it's hard work, but at the same time, it's beneficial.
Right.
He's married, has his family, he's still serving, he's still doing well, and he's working and doing all that he needs to do, and everybody's comfortable. And the benefits that you're going to get being a military army type official is going to be off the freaking hook. I know
Actually,
that.
I seen a video yesterday, which kind of made me a little angry about a man who was a veteran, and he went to this restaurant and asked, "Do you guys have a veterans discount?" And this Karen, I will say Karen, got
Uh-huh.
mad at him for saying, "That is so rude. It's so disrespectful to ask that." And I was just completely disgusted. If you don't know, no, she said it's privilege as well. She said that's
Absolutely.
privilege. And the man told her straight to her face, it's privilege that you can go home to your families safely every single day. It's privilege that you have freedom of speech while other people's in the country that we're fighting in don't have it. Um, so you can talk to me about privilege once you
Well,
fight in Afghanistan.
I understand exactly what you're saying. And that right there is actually a derivative of the representation we've had for the longest time right now for actually the 4 years. Because before that, I mean, even me growing up, I knew that anybody who served, it didn't matter what their rank was, as long as they were part of a military, you know, unit, you thank them for their services
Right.
because their sacrifice is huge. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
it's a tremendous sacrifice.
absolutely. Because you know what? My cousins, okay, for them to do what they did, although it was part time, they spent a lot of time away from family. They spent a lot of time where they could not reunite with everyone on holidays. And they had to be on base doing whatever they had to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, you know, it's an adjustment of life. You get what I'm saying? And when you go in, your whole mindset is restructured because your mindset has to be restructured for you to know what the utmost purest form of leadership is all about. And to do that, you basically have to unlearn all that you've learned for you to learn the new way that it's going to help you to be the way you're supposed to be all throughout your career. It's a whole different ballgame
Right.
because you're going to have to learn basically how to be in the position where you stand and make space for other people as well as yourself. And it's not even about you because other people come first because you're constantly serving. You get what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
not about how you feel or what you want to do. It's what is going to fit for the people. And then you're going to have to correlate that with your unit. And then, you have people on top of you that's going to give you rules and regulations. You have to know how to follow. There's protocol, there's structure to that. So with
Right.
that being said, the way things have been run before, unfortunately for young kids, it hasn't been a good example. And that's the reason why, like, you have a lot of people arguing back and forth, and they kind of step into your territory, disrespecting you, respond to you any particular way, because that's the image that's been portrayed for a while. Meanwhile, what we're doing here, could be done on a regular basis, just having a nice
A nice
dialogue,
conversation. Yeah.
you know? But it's not like that. It's always full of hostility because we've been watching hostility. The image of hostility has been instilled in a lot of the kids out there. So what's going to happen is, like GQ said, you're going to have to break down in order to rebuild. You're going to have to unlearn a
Right.
lot of the things that you've seen for you to be able to learn the new stuff. And trust me, anybody who has gone to the army, whatever, anybody who has gone to those type of units, they always broken down. You're gonna come break down because I hear the story from my cousins. You know what I mean? But who you become afterwards is priceless, totally unstoppable. You know, my cousin who's the doctor says for him, he learned a lot from home. However, when he went to the army, okay, he said that what he learned about finance and investments while he was there, how to really juggle his accounts and really pay his bills standpoint, like, because that's a primary thing that they make sure that you're set and sound in. They don't want you to be in debt. Okay, clean credit report. All right, you got to work it to the point where it is like 750, or if not, you're gonna have 800 or more. You get what I'm saying?
Well, I'm not, the most
You
sure
know,
about credit.
so no, but I'm
Not old
saying
enough
like
yet.
those are the type of things because a lot of us like when we come out of college, a lot of times it depends on what situations are. You're pretty much in debt, you know.
Mhm.
So that's why there are a lot of people who take the option to go to the military so that they could get some type of boost and help them out. But it's not like they just give you the money and, they're like, pay your debt. No, you work
Right.
for it. And as you're working, right then and there, you're learning and you're picking up the skills, you're picking up the protocol, and you could apply all of that to your everyday life. And that right there, honestly, that type of training is priceless.
Right. Can't get it from
Totally.
anywhere else.
No, you really can't. Unless you have somebody in your family that's gone that route and wants to like instill you in that route, but you also have to be willing to receive it. You know what I'm saying? So it goes both ways. It doesn't always happen that way. But either way, I mean, that it's beneficial 100%. 100%. Let me see if anybody has any comments here. GQ says he has one cousin in the Navy and one in the Air Force. Oh, nice. Hi, Nana. And Gary is back with us. Thank you so much. Dwayne Hurt, right? And we are here to witness it. Yes, I'm telling you, this is the future. GQ says, just imagine though, President Rashid was interviewed first on the Martine show.
Uh,
It's
I'm not
documented.
sure about president. That's a little bit
You never
there.
know. Either way, it's documented. We will always cross-reference it on IGTV.
They're gonna come back here. They're gonna come back.
Hi, Elena. How you doing? How's work and everything? Oh my God. Thank you for supporting Rashid. So, after all that being said, how did you end up on Rizzle?
Well, I was watching YouTube video from Hunter Avalone.
I
I
know
don't
that.
really support him that much anymore, but
Okay.
Hunter Avalone is I wouldn't even call him Republican anymore. He's not Republican. Let's say conservative YouTuber, and he makes videos about different social issues. And one day, I happened to stumble upon the video, which a lot of people who are on here who are Republican can really tell you the same. We've all watched the same video of Hunter Avalone talking about the app Rizzle, and he was talking about how good it is because of the diversity of opinions and the diversity of content. And I was like, let me check it out. So I made my first video. I was in a robe, I believe. um, and I
Mhm.
was talking about how I'm going to make a bunch of videos about anything and everything, which I haven't done yet, but that's how I got on from a YouTube video. So it's
Okay. So,
basically an outside source told me about it.
yeah. So you got initiated through onto Avalon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like I got initiated to from this young lady. Her name is the Mademoiselle, and I was watching her YouTube,
I know her.
and yeah, and then I ended up on Rizzle because of her, and stuff. So yeah, I mean that's how pretty much quite a few people actually ended up on Rizzle, I believe. Some sort of advertisement from another influencer who got it popping on like YouTube or whatever, and then they end up on Rizzle, and it's like, oh my
when I
god.
when I see when I did that, I realized I'm like advertisements actually work. I used to always think advertisements never work. Nobody actually goes to those places. Nobody actually downloads that VPN or anything that these people are trying to put out there. And I was like, actually, if you talk to a lot of people on Rizzo, they came from people advertising the app. That's really cool
Mhm.
how word gets around like that.
Yeah, it really does work. I mean, if you think about it, everything that you see on YouTube, especially when they're doing product reviews and stuff like that, all of that are things that they're advertising. They're advertising their affiliate link or, you know, and they're just like representing as an influencer. And that's all it is. And people are buying and getting the services or going through the app like we did for Rizzo, and that's it. And then we got
Just
hooked.
create a community with that.
Exactly,
Most of them aren't
My,
even on here.
right? But my thing is this, it's nice how we all connected through Rizzo, and you're saying you came from an outside source, which I came from an outside source as well. I think a lot of other people did the same thing, you know. But like I said, getting to the destination is one thing. What you do with it is another, you know.
Mhm.
Just being on there, some people are just on there lily-galling all day, which is okay if that's what they want to do, fine, and you have those who are there that are really constructive, working on their brand, like me, you know,
Right.
so that's a whole different ball game. And then you have those who just basically want to maybe answer questions all day, you know, that's
I'm not
it.
one of those, but
You have
I haven't
those.
been on Rizzo for a while. I gotta
I
admit.
know, but it's what you make it. It's what you make it. And what you make it basically is what you get out of it, you know?
Exactly.
Just like you have a specific plan, you know where you want to go, you know what you want to do. You're going to implement that because you already know your purpose. You already know your route and you're going to
Niche.
follow that
Isn't
path.
that what's called?
Exactly. Yeah, the niche. You already know, But everybody needs to do the same thing, and that's exactly what I'm trying to say. Everybody, the same way Rashid is. I mean, this guy is young, 25 years old. He know what he's doing. He know where he's going. He already know what he's gonna study. He already know he's gonna be in National Guard. Like, y'all need to focus, okay? Focus and like do like this young man, all right? Because that's really
Martine.
what it is. That's really what it is. So,
And do like Martine too. Make your own brand.
thank you. So, with that being said, I watch your Instagram every now and then. I mean, I comment once in a while, not all the time, but I'm always watching you though.
Right.
You're very much into family, very much well rounded. When I realized that you were a twin, I was like, I love twins, by the way, and I have a thing for twin boys. Let me tell you, I think you guys are the cutest.
Thank
Okay,
you. Thank you.
the cutest ever. It's unfortunate that your brother's not always on Rizzo. Okay,
Almost never.
but other
Let's
than
be
that,
honest. Almost never.
yeah. But other than that, I think you guys would do like really nice work together. But you guys have other things going on, and everything. But I see that you're very much into family. You guys do stuff together a lot, and it's really nice to see. It's really
Thank
nice
you.
to see. You don't always see that, especially with Black families. It doesn't always happen
Yeah,
all
you
the
really
time.
don't. I noticed that.
Yeah. So I wanted to be sure to add that in for you and let you know that I'll be watching you. I'm a
Thank you.
fan. I'm a quiet fan. I'm a fan of everybody, to tell you the truth. And people know that. More the reason why I have my show and it's about the people, because I'm a fan and I love having conversations and I want to know exactly what you're all about. And that's how I learn too. Because just because you're younger than I am, that doesn't mean I can't learn from you.
Right.
That doesn't mean that we can't have a conversation, and I want you to have like an open door policy with me where, what you like. I remember I had an interview with Martine, but let me try to hit her up. I got a question. I'm in school or I'm on break from National Guard. Hey, what's up, girl? What's going on? Can get what's up? No problem. I just be like, hey, Congressman.
That's gonna be cool.
Stuff like that. I mean, that's how we encourage people. That's the route to go. We just got to keep doing it. If we keep going like this, we'll get very far. We really will, because what I'm doing is very much lacking in our community.
Right.
It's really lacking in our community. Other communities do it, and they get somewhere because they're consistent in having conversation. Basically, they're always having an open dialogue, open
That's all we
policy.
need. Conversations.
Yeah. And you can see, like, although Rizzle is all about real talk, real people, but there are many conflicts on Rizzle
There
because
are.
people want you to pretty much be on their side as opposed to being in the conversation,
Mhm.
And it doesn't always happen that way, and everyone is just not ready to receive other opinions all the time.
True. And I do want to talk about that. That's very
Take,
true.
take it over. Take it over.
Um, I have to talk about the situation with Jeff from the
Okay.
Conservative Voice.
Oh boy.
So, yes, me and him were once very good friends. We talked all the time. We talked about politics. We just did everything that, any person on Rizzo would usually do. Talk to each other. And that's when I talked to him. I confronted him about the way he treated another Rizzler by just basically calling her all types of names, even though he knew nothing about her. And he saw that as a threat. And he said, "Oh, I thought you were my friend." Um, and he was sorry, he's yelling and stuff.
Your brother.
So it's kind of distracting me. But he was like, "I thought you were my friend. I thought you had my back. I've done all this for you, and just hearing this from you, it really hurts my feelings." And literally after that, I was done. I stopped texting him. I stopped answering his messages. Didn't call him no more. And I'm like, if you're good. And then he called me, the B word. He said F you, and I'm like, this man is probably more than 10 years older than me, and the way he's talking to me is just childish, and I am way too mature to even deal with that negativity. So I just decided to just stop talking to him, stop the connection, stop the conversation. And if you're going to call me names, then that's pretty much the end of the conversation, because it's not really a conversation anymore. It's more of a argument back and forth. And I didn't want to be a part of that. So that was a really big conflict on Rizzo, between him and a lot of other people. And once Coach Sebastian Taylor went on his, I wouldn't say rant, but once Coach Sebastian Taylor did his what
The
is it called?
conference? Was it
Conferences. Yeah, when he
yeah.
did those, a lot of people came forward and had stories about them and their conflicts with Jeff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he has
Yeah.
problems with everybody on Rizzo. And
Yeah.
that's really bad. You're that problematic that everybody on Rizzo hates you. Well, I
Yeah.
don't necessarily hate him, but I just can't be around him. I can't talk
Well,
to him.
yeah, they distance from him. I mean, that's one thing that I learned from very, very young.
Mhm.
When you're just that one common denominator and everybody is saying the same thing about you, then you need to check yourself. You know what I mean? Because you can't just be
Right.
one person and you have several different personalities all saying the same thing about that one person. Like something is
Right.
off. Something is off. Something needs to be checked out. And unfortunately, this
Some
individual
people just don't get it.
is not ready. He's not ready for that, because he's
He
not
really
ready
isn't.
to you know. Um, I had a situation early on with him. Actually, I had two situations early on with him. And it came to a point, and I was just like, oh, I already see where this is going. Okay, then we won't be able to continue this. I had to block, because it's like, for the sake of my sanity, you know, I need to protect my energy, and I'm gonna have to block this. So that's what I did. But still, he still had another opportunity, another chance. Basically, when I had created the Facebook group for the Resilience, he was invited into it, and he came. He was okay for a couple of days, and I think a following week, he blasted a few people in there.
I
So,
heard about that.
as the admin, I had to take control and be like, hey,
Right.
listen, you can't act this way, stuff like that. Please don't do that. If you
Oh,
continue, we're going to have to basically remove you. And I don't think he understood that that was possible. So at the end, he ended up totally being blocked from the group, But the
That's
thing about
insane.
it, you were invited, okay? You were accepted, you were greeted,
Right, you were
you were
accepted.
welcomed,
You just didn't randomly appear
you
into the
know,
group.
you were welcomed. And once again, you messed up again. So it's like, what are we supposed to do? And that's the thing with people. People do not understand. Like, and this is the reason why I love doing my show, because I give everybody an opportunity to be on my platform. I give
Right,
everybody an opportunity to be heard. And one thing I do not abide to is that because I give everybody the same opportunity for exposure, I don't want anybody like coming and saying like anything negative or bad about anyone, because everybody has the same opportunity. It's a matter about what you do with it. You know what I'm saying?
right,
And and that's the whole thing. So that's why I'm just like I'm protective of you being on my show. I'm protective of every person that I have an interview with, because this is my platform,
right, right. That makes
you
sense.
know. So
It's
you're not gonna come.
unfortunate that some people just don't abide by that.
Yeah, and then people don't understand. So I won't let somebody come and talk about my show or talk about you referencing my show or anybody else, because this is my product. This is my work.
Yeah,
Okay. So hell or water. If I'm gonna fight, I'm gonna fight. If I have to cut a head off, I will. Because this is me. This is my product. You're on my show. And I'm gonna protect you. I protect everybody. I protect the viewers. Okay? Because without them, there wouldn't be a show either. You know what I'm saying? And people need to understand and have that sense of respect. And
right,
that's that, like, once there's a loss, that sense of respect is lost, like, it's left field for me. I'm like, okay, cut you off, done. I'm done.
right. And even though with that respect thing, like I had much respect for Jeff, and when you realize that your friend is doing something very wrong by just arguing with people and calling people out of their name randomly, even though he doesn't know anything about them, I had to tell him things about her for him to apologize. And you know what? As an adult, nobody should have to tell you when
Yeah.
you're doing something wrong. You should know it already. And the respect went down after the problems that
Yeah.
I seen and after Colt Sebastian Taylor's conferences. And I'm like, wow, I've been friends with this guy for how many months now? And
Yeah.
now it's a problem when I confront him on the things that he's doing wrong. As a friend, you should be like, you know what? You're my friend. Maybe I should hear what you're saying and maybe I should hear you out. And, maybe you're right. Maybe I should fix myself. But instead, he went off on a tangent, made a bunch of text messages, paragraphs, the same thing, but, you know, instead of making hundreds of videos, instead he made hundreds of paragraphs. And I couldn't read every single one of them. I wasn't going to. And, I knew what was in them before I read them. It was a bunch of curse words and a
Yeah.
bunch of derogatory words and, some language that I shouldn't share online. And
No, but
basically,
you got to come to a point too. You're getting older. You got to come to a point where you're like, you know what? Some languages, like, you don't participate in. Like, you just be like, that's not my language. I
right.
don't hear you. I don't understand you. That's not my language. You want to speak to me? Come correct. Let's speak a language, okay? And that's it. You got to up your standards. At times, and it's necessary as you walk up, and you're gonna end up doing that. They're gonna show you that and the route that you're going on. You know, you're gonna have to learn how to associate. Well, you're going to associate. Sometimes you're gonna have to de-associate, and then you're gonna have to re-associate, because your surrounding that you had prior, okay, like right now, is not going to be your surrounding when you're going to be in, okay, the service, studying, doing your thing. And by the time you end, you're not going to have the same association at all. You're going to be in a whole different echelon. You're going to have a whole different protocol, and you're going to have a whole different vision. So those people you had prior, yeah, it was great to know and stuff. Some people, based on personality, their protocol and structure, you could keep, but some, you're going to have to go.
Right.
And that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line, you know. Thank you, Hot Sauce Empress, for being with us. You know, it's just life. You know, you can't go everywhere you go with everybody. You know, if that's the case, every path you go through in life would have been simple and easy. You know, and everybody could do it too. We have Sage Love here. Thank you for being with us. Lula, Lula Baby Mar. Lil Baby Mar, thank you for being with us. Sharky 304. Elijah John. A lot of newcomers here. I like this.
This was great. This was a great conversation. I hope everybody stayed.
Jackson!
Jasmine
Well,
coming in late.
he's been preoccupied with school, so. But either way, I mean, it's going to be posted, and
Right.
people could leave their comments and all that stuff. But I'm really happy to have this conversation with you. It's a constructive conversation. I'm learning
Thank
a lot
you.
from you and everything. You're very welcome. And I'm sure that everybody else is really getting a lot of good tidbits on the conversation today. Jackson says he apologized for not coming in. I had a bad day and needed to reduce my social media usage. Okay, no problem at all.
That's understandable. Definitely understandable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, one thing with social media, actually, I'm going to have a show where I want to do a show on social media addiction. And one thing with social media that people do not understand is that people need to start learning to use social media for business, which means a specific purpose. Okay. Not just to be on social media for the hell of it, you know. And unfortunately, we have a lot of youngins on social media because that's the thing to do. That's just the place to be, you know. But it doesn't necessarily make it right. So, because if you don't have something specific that you're working on, for me personally, I don't see the reason to be on social media. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? Because there's more turmoil that could come your way if you're not sound in your mind, if you really don't have your mental together, as opposed to it working out for you. You get it? And you have a lot of young people who get on social media and they get very much addicted. And when they get addicted, then their image gets squashed, where they're trying to mimic the person they're looking at all day, all night, whoever that idol is, you know what I mean? And want to do everything that they're doing. Meanwhile, their life parameters or situations or whatever does not correlate with that person they want to look at or adore all day long. You get what I'm saying? So it creates issues, and it creates disagreements and a lot of broken conversations between parents, family, and all that stuff because, we all have different lives. I'm in New York, you're in New York, but you're in upstate, I'm in the city. That's a whole different life. It's a whole different structure, and people need to understand, like, we all have differences regardless. Like, we're in the same state, but we still have different type of lives
Right.
based on where we live. The structure in where you live is totally different from where I live. You know what I'm saying? And that makes you have a different style, and a lot of people don't understand that. And it could be disrespectful sometimes in certain ways because everybody's not willing to receive everyone the way that they are, if you get what I'm saying. People want to receive people the way they think they should be or the image they should have based on their personal beliefs, but not on the way the person is, the way that they are. And that's a major issue for me.
That is.
One of the reasons why I like to do this show, because everybody comes as they are. And I just let everybody just do their thing and be like, all right, this is your part, your time. And I'll ask you a couple of questions. You tell me about you, and that's it. And everybody goes their merry way.
As long as people understand people, that's all that really matters.
Absolutely. But that's the major issue that we have. There's a major, broken frequency in dialogue, for
Right.
sure. So GQ has a cool comment here. He was saying something about assumptions. Where is it? Assumptions are never healthy. Exactly. And Dwayne quoted when I said cut the head off. It's figuratively, but you know what I mean. I'll come at you. Out of everything that I said, he had to be like, cut the hell off. You know, that's great. Watch him go rizzle about that. And make a
Breaking
whole
news: Martine Maya said she's gonna cut somebody's head off. That's great.
Well, Dwayne is something else. Oh my God. Let me see. Anybody else have any questions for Rashid, the future? Just say the future. I like this. That's his pen name, Rashid, the future.
I'm the future, guys. That's my new name.
He's the future.
No questions? Nothing?
Questions. So anything else that you would like to leave us with?
Well, I appreciate you letting me on the show, inviting me and stuff. That was really good. We had a really good conversation. Um, we talked about our good old friend Jeff. Is that a question right there?
What year are you going to run for president? He's going to start off going for congressman or senator first.
Right. We talked about
Everybody's thinking about you going for president, though. That's funny.
we talked about the armed forces, and what I'm going to be doing. And she talked about her family. We talked about Rizzo, and also basically how I got into politics, and that really it basically kind of put a bunch out of me. Like it really let me know what I've done in the past because I've never really thought about it, and it was really good to have this conversation, and I'm definitely gonna look back at it.
I'm glad. You know, the thing when you said that, it kind of like gave you the opportunity to re-examine yourself. You know, because you don't really sit down and talk about yourself, right?
Right.
You talk about everybody else or everything other than you. So yeah, that's what the Martine Show is all about. It's an opportunity for you to actually focus on you and get connected with your inner self. You know, that's why it's self-awareness and self-development and everything social. That's the platform.
This is a whole
So
different energy, guys. The Martine Maya show is a whole different energy, guys.
it
You guys
is.
got to
It
be on
really
it.
is. It's an experience. Oh, one big question I wanted to ask you. I watched you when you were a guest on Ricky Valero's The Valero Verdict, and I never had the opportunity to congratulate you for actually being on there.
Thank you.
And your representation was highly noticeable.
Appreciate it.
And everything you spoke about was on point, of course, and your professionalism. Yeah, that's another thing I need to talk about. You as a young man, young black man on social media, you are always well represented, always professional, always well groomed, well put together. I mean,
I
like,
could from here to there.
yeah, but the thing about it is it's based on what you're discussing. And if you want
Right.
to emphasize on something that maybe irritates you or get on your nerves type of thing, but it's not a regular conversation type where you're
Yeah,
constantly talking, you know, and I noticed that. I noticed that.
I
And I
couldn't do
think
it. I cannot do
it's
that.
it's not part of you. It's not part of you. And I commend you for being the way that you are
Thank
because
you.
yeah, we need more of that. We definitely need more of that. You know, so that is something that I always noticed. And that's the reason why when um I remember like there was one point where you had it, and I believe it was with the Jeff situation. And you were just like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And you were just like going off. And I was just like, listen, if you cannot see eye to eye, by all means, protect your energy. And I remember that's all I said to you. Next thing you know, you're like,
Right.
you
I
know what?
remember that.
You're right. And I never said anything else because you just took care of it from there. You know, but I'm like, hey, if you feel so disturbed, then you need to retract your energy. You need to know that enough is enough. You know, and
Exactly.
I'm very
If you
proud of
feel
you.
it in your gut, just go with your gut.
Yeah, and I'm very proud of you for actually taking the stand, because it's nothing against anybody else, but nobody needs to be teared down, you
Right.
know, in the process of doing whatever they're doing. Just like I do my show, uh, you're not gonna tear me down because I have a show, and you're not gonna tear my guests down because they're on my show, and they could be on my show as many times as I choose for them to be on my show, because most likely it's worthwhile. That's why they keep coming back. There's a reason why they keep coming back, And like I tell people, my show is transformational. So when you sit here, it's like, okay, you guys want to be like Martine is the Oprah of Rizzle. Yeah, it is like Oprah, because when you sit on a chair, you go through an experience. And
Hmm.
once you leave, it's like, wow, I was on an Oprah show and I learned XYZ about myself. Same thing here with the Martine show.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
It's just on Instagram. That's all. So GQ is saying, what is your end game goal, and what do you aspire to do in making the world a better place? Thought
Well,
provoking question.
my main goal is I really, there's something that I'm really disgusted with, like that I really want to change is it's definitely poverty. I know I can't end poverty like for good, but at least I want to make some legislation that really prohibits it from happening. And I definitely have to, and I know that might sound cliche. Every politician wants to get rid of poverty, but that's just like something that, even though sometimes I rarely see poverty, when I see it, I'm so like disgusted by it, and I'm like, I hate it so much when there's people around here walking around with thousands of dollars in their pocket. They got all this extra stuff, and I'm like, why are they the ones who are so unfortunate? And I really want to figure that out, and I really want to change that. And that really bothers me that there are still homeless and poor people today. That bothers me.
I feel where you're coming from, and it bothers me as well. But you're gonna get into politics, you're going to learn and know. And then I want you to come back to tell me what you learned, because you will learn that everything, every movement in this world is a business. Okay. Whether it's good or bad, it's a business. All right. And unfortunately, poverty is a business.
Hmm.
Okay. Because there are people who profit from that, and they actually make money on the fact that um, people don't have the means that they have. And they also have tax breakers for those type of businesses. You get what I'm saying? So it's just, it's how you go about it. And when you do get in depth more into politics, the more you get into community, the more you're going to learn and see exactly the reason why some policies are very difficult to come, to pass. Because it's not just like a simple, you create a bill or a legislator and you just put it out there and it goes through. No, many different hands, many different heads have to participate in the decision making process. They have to vote. You know what I'm saying? And along that line, you could have a very good policy that's going to work for all the people. But by the time it gets to the end route, all of a sudden it's not effective anymore. It's not working the way it's working because they want to like mimic it for you. They want to add stuff, they want to change stuff in order for them to agree with the policy that they're presenting. And sometimes if they can't make any tangible changes, like they can't adjust it, they'll just like not approve it at all. And that's the issue that's always happened on the politics floor. The same thing that happened with the Affordable Act, same exact thing. It came out for a good cause and it's a great plan. However, it could be adjusted to be better for most people and it's expensive. But by the time it got down, like the majority of people out there who had to vote on it really didn't want it. But it got passed because it became an executive order. And that's the reason why a lot of people have insurance. You know, regardless of the way that it's structured, that's why the Affordable Care Act was passed. So that's something you're going to learn. It's, you know, politics is great. It's not that simple. It's not easy. But once you get well-rounded into community service and know what community is all about, you're going to be able to tie both in together, and it's all going to start making sense for you. And that's why I
Thank
encourage
you.
you to get into community. You're welcome. Ariana is here. Queen Ariana's in the house. Mitch Savage. Oh my God. Thank you so much for being with us. Every time Mitch comes on our lives, I tell you, I always feel a certain way because when I started, I'm going to tell the story again. Mitch was my timekeeper, my live timekeeper, because we could not, I'd have a time clock, all that stuff. And I was just like, tapping away. And I had limitations on Instagram because it was only straight 1 hour. But now we don't do that anymore because Instagram has given us access. So we could have it as long as we actually really choose. So thank you, Mitch, for always being here. So anybody has anything else for the future? Rashid, the future. But homelessness is actually a very good cause to take. And you're going to also learn that homelessness is very different on different levels. It's different on the local level. It's different on the national level. It's not all the same. Like the way homelessness is in, let's say, like New York, we're in New York. You're going to go to Africa, it's going to be different. And you're going to go to Haiti, it's going to be different. So because you have worldwide homelessness, that's a whole different ballgame, which you'll be
Right.
dealing with like World Organization, under the UN. And then you also have local homelessness, which is like, city and state pretty much. And that's a whole different ballgame by itself. But it's definitely a good cause to be concerned about. And especially if it resonates with you to a point where you're like, I want to make a difference. So I definitely encourage you to just keep on with your endeavors, and gonna look forward to seeing you blossom.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're
And I
welcome.
appreciate all the compliments in the chat too.
Yeah, you got a lot of compliments. You're welcome, Mitch. You got a lot of compliments.
I think this was a really productive show to be on.
You really enjoyed it all. Thank you so
Yes.
much. I'm happy that
And
we
Ricky,
had
I enjoy your
you.
show too. So
Oh no, Ricky knows. Trust me, Ricky knows. I'm supposed to be on Ricky's show sometime this month because he's doing like a women empowerment type of segment. So I'm gonna be on one of his interviews and stuff.
I have to
So
be on Lindsay's show very soon too. Sometime this month. Don't remember
okay,
when.
okay, no
Yeah, I have to
problem.
be on there. I'm not sure what we're gonna talk about.
Okay,
Probably, maybe the same thing. I'm not sure. We'll
all
see.
right, yeah. But for sure, it was definitely a pleasure to have you,
Thank you.
and
Thank you, everybody.
we look forward for another opportunity to have you on as you move on in your endeavors. All right.
Definitely. Definitely come back on here, guys. You
The
won't be the
door's
last of me
open.
here.
So thank you all for being here. Thank you all for supporting Rashid, the future with big plans. All right. And let's all wish him well. And we look forward to next Tuesday, guys, at 8 p.m. Author Martine Myers on The Martine Show. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.